Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Surfer's Journey. Today's episode is all about what you need to do to make the most of small waves. We're going to talk about equipment and we're going to talk about different techniques that you can use to maximize those small wave surfing days. Guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe now and also check out our website at www.thesurfersjourney.com.au. You can also follow us on Instagram. But let's get into today's lesson of the week. The first point to discuss when we talk about maximizing small waves is all about what equipment you're using. What kind of board are you going to surf in small waves? Well, depending on your approach, that's really what it comes down to. Are you looking for performance, or do you want to just catch as many waves as possible and just cruise and have a good time? Well, if it's option B and you want to cruise and catch waves easily, then something like a longboard is going to be a good option. We can then come back from that. So if we start at the high end of high volume, high buoyancy, easiness, well then we come back down. And the next level would be something like a mid-length. Mid-lengths offer easy paddling and easy turning, but a little bit more performance. Then we can come back down to something like a fish, a high volume fish, which is a little bit trickier to paddle. We've got less volume now, but we've got more maneuverability. And then we could go to something a bit more performance-y, which would be something like a small wave performance board. I want to focus on those two options of the high performance small wave board and a high volume fish. High-performance small wave boards basically sit in the middle of a high-performance shortboard and something like a performance fish. They're designed to be maneuverable and performance-y enough that you can perform sharp, critical maneuvers on smaller waves, but having additional paddling power and also having lowered rocker in the board, we are able to get over those flat sections a little bit easier than that compared of a high-performance shortboard. And you can see in this example here how I'm able to generate speed and perform maneuvers on flat sections. But the benefits that I see to having a high performance small wave board are that if you're an intermediate level surfer aiming to get to an advanced level, well, when you get a good section, you're able to perform critical maneuvers still. However, generating speed requires good speed generation and good section selection, so you're not able to rely on the board to generate the speed like you would be able to if it was a high volume fish or a performance fish. And consequently, due to the higher rocker and lower volume that a high performance small wave board would have when compared to a high volume fish, well, the difference is that paddling this board is going to be a little bit harder. But if speed generation and ease of paddling aren't a big issue for you, well then a high performance small wave board could be a good choice when the waves are going to offer some critical sections in amongst all those small flat sections. And for those sessions where the waves are really lacking the opportunity to get speed, well then you need to fall back to a board that's going to generate speed for you much easier. So we're looking at a board that has less rocker, so it's flatter, it's wider, and it's got concave, which is there to generate speed and lift in the board. We're looking for a board that helps us generate speed and get over those flat sections. You can see the waves that I'm surfing here really require that sort of board. But having a board like this, you still want to be able to perform maneuvers when you get a good section. Well, a high performance fish will allow you to still perform maneuvers when you're given a good section. And in addition to that, you're going to have an easier paddler. I've gone for a higher volume board here. It's almost 3 liters more than I would usually surf. That makes this board really easy to paddle. It makes catching waves really easy, and generating speed happens quite effortlessly. So depending on the conditions, there's certainly room for both of these boards in your quiver, and either one of them is going to be a great choice for those smaller wave days. You just have to decide how difficult those conditions are going to be when it comes to generating speed. If it's going to be really hard work out there, I would always fall back to the high performance fish. But if there's a couple of good sections and a couple of good waves out there, well then it might be worth taking that high performance small wave board out where you can really push your maneuvers when you get those sections. Now that we've discussed equipment and hopefully you've worked out which board is going to be best for you and the kind of surfing that you want to actually do, well, now let's talk about a few different techniques. And all of these techniques come back to maximizing your speed. Small waves don't offer speed, so we have to work hard for it through speed generation and performing the correct maneuvers on the correct sections. If we can do all those things, we're going to maximize our speed, and by having that speed, we can perform better maneuvers. So let's break down these key points now. There are several techniques that surfers can utilize when they surf small average waves, which are going to help them surf their best and have the best time that they can out in those conditions. Now, one of those things is that you want to stay close to the pocket, close to the power source. Because small average waves generally don't have that much power and they're not going to give you speed that you need without you having to work for it, well, therefore we need to stay close to the power source. If we can do that, we're going to maintain our speed, and we're also going to be able to access more critical sections like you can see on this wave here. I'm able to get steeper sections, and by staying close to the power source, I also give that wave the opportunity to produce those sections. As you can see here, I've stayed close to the power source, and now I've had the ability to finish with the re-entry. If I had to just race down the face, I'm not going to have access to the critical sections. The other skill that surfers should utilize when they surf small waves is having a good idea of what move they're going to perform on what kind of section. You can see here that I've performed a carve or a bit of a snap when what I should have done was performed a roundhouse cutback. And again, this comes back to the previous skill of staying close to the power source. Now, when you perform a roundhouse cutback on a small wave, you get a lot of benefits. Here though, performing this snap/carve, I lost all my speed and now I'm caught behind the section. And because it's a small average wave, I'm really going to struggle to get back in front of it. I should have done a roundhouse cutback because once I've hit that foam, it's going to slingshot me out. It's also going to put me back into the pocket like this wave here. If I'm close to the pocket, I'm going to have better sections, and we already know that that's what we're looking for. The other critical skill we have to learn is speed generation, like what you see here. I want to generate as much speed as I can when I'm up and riding on small waves. Here you can see I'm throwing my arms up as I extend my body, as I transfer my weight onto my toes, heading up to the top of the wave. That's the power source. And as I come back down from that, I slightly compress like a coiled spring, and then I go again. And this is how we generate speed on a wave, by correctly positioning ourselves and utilizing our bodies to generate speed and lift by staying in that mid face to upper face. The other way that we can maximize a wave's speed and power when there's not that much on offer is all through peak positioning. So where we actually take off on a wave. It's going to make a massive difference to the speed that we get going into a wave. On this wave here is a good example of why we want to take off on the peak. You can clearly see that this is the peak of the wave, it's the initial braking part. Now by taking off on the peak, as I go down the face, I'm going to get all that initial speed and power that wave's got. I'm able to go down to the bottom in this case, perform a bottom turn and a top turn combo without doing any speed generation. And this is something that we can achieve by good peak positioning. Always take off on the peak or even behind the peak in small waves. It's going to position you and set you up for more speed, more power and success down the line. So for me, it's these two areas that make the biggest difference to your small wave surfing. Having the right equipment and understanding that you want to change it up depending on what the waves are offering, and also depending on the kind of surfing that you actually want to do on that given day. And the next point is maximizing speed through speed generation, section selection, peak positioning, and performing the right maneuvers. If we can do all of those things, then we're going to make the most out of the small wave days and have a good time. Guys, thanks for watching the video today. I hope that this video has broken down some key points that you guys can use next time you're surfing small waves. Remember that the right equipment will make or break your small wave surfing days. And if you can use these techniques and apply them to those small wave days, you're going to get more speed, you're going to have more fun, and ultimately that's what we all want to do, is have a good time when we go surfing. Remember to like the video and comment below to let me know if there's any other videos you'd like to see. Thanks guys, I'll catch you in the water. If you want help taking your surfing to the next level, we do offer surf coaching
face-to-face. We're based in South Australia, but we can travel around Australia if required. And for those of you who are international but you still want to work with us, you can access video analysis online. So if you can get footage of yourself surfing, you can send it to me and I'll be able to analyze it and send you back a detailed analysis of your surfing and what you need to do to progress on your current level. You can find out more about all of this on our website at www.thesurfersjourney.com.au.